Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm here today to talk about my own personal art collection. I want to walk you through just a few pieces of art that I've kind of acquired and have in my own personal collection. I love collecting art. If there's anything that is my most favorite thing to collect, it is art, and I think it's just one of those generational wealth type of items that you can really keep for yourself and enjoy. And then I love the thought of just passing on or having art to pass on to my, maybe my kids one day or people that I care about, my family members or friends. And these are just a few pieces that I've acquired through a lot of my sourcing. I go to a ton of antique malls. I go to a lot of thrift stores. I go to a lot of estate sales, and I do a lot of auction shopping as well. So I have a vintage shop, and it's linked below, 33 Cubed. I'm the owner of 33 Cubed, if you haven't been here before. I come across a lot of art. I love selling art. It's my most favorite thing to sell and to acquire and to source. I do my own framing and matting. I love doing custom framing and matting. It's just something that I've been really passionate about and I love doing. And so it's always really fun to find a piece of art that maybe has somewhat of a boring, maybe matte, and change that up to a different frame that you really like and a custom matting. And so you find a lot of those types of items on my shop. So just a few pieces of art. I wanted to kind of walk you through a couple in my collection, and then also some tips on where you can find really good vintage art, where you can find art that you really love, that you can curate, that you can collect, and then maybe you pass that art on down to, some family members of your own or some special people in your life one day. Also, this is my kind of work table. So I do all of my framing and matting here on this table, and I do all of my packaging and shipping on this table. So it has tons of just stuff like my business cards, and anytime someone buys art from me, I generally package it with vintage matches. So this is something I'm always looking out for, is vintage matches, and then I put these in your shipment. So if you get vintage matches, that's because I love them, and I hope you love them too. Just to go through a few pieces of my art and my own personal collection that I really love, I'll start with my Northern California house. So we have a house up in the Trinity Alps of Northern California it's our mountain house, and we've just kind of found art in that local vicinity. And then I've also taken art in my suitcase, or if I find things sourcing there, like we were just in San Francisco, going to San Francisco actually here soon. I'll have art shipped over to that home, and then I'll have it there. But I have found a good amount there actually. And so one of those is this vintage 1972 line drawing, and this is called contour line drawing. And we have this actually in our bedroom right now. My husband actually saw this on a wall in a bathroom of an antique mall. Well, it wasn't in the bathroom, but it was in kind of an employee area on a wall outside of their bathroom that you have to be let in. And so don't be afraid to ask if you see something that you really like. It didn't have a for sale sign, and they didn't even tell us right away if we were even able to buy it, but we really liked it. He actually came and got me, and he's like, you have to see this piece of art that's in this bathroom. And so I went in there and saw it, and I was like, I love that too. We have the same taste in art, which is great. In fact, he always gets really attached to a lot of the pieces of art that I have that I sell. Signature isn't very legible necessarily, but just love it. It's not always about the value of the art, in my opinion. It's if you really love something and if you're drawn to something, that to me is art. It could literally be a clipping out of a magazine. If you love it, you could have it framed and put it in your home, and that's really what matters. I know I mentioned the generational wealth aspect of art. That's if you have and are collecting art that's valuable, but it doesn't have to be that. I think it's just so meaningful even to have a piece of art from a family member. I know I have a piece of art that I'll show here in a moment. Actually, I'll just put it up here. This is a piece of art that my dad gave to me a couple years ago or so, and it's an oil painting that he got from a friend of his that was in his parents' family for years, and they were getting rid of a bunch of stuff in their house up in North Idaho. I'm actually from Coeur d'Alene. I actually have this up high and my kitchen cabinetry, and so I'm not necessarily a fan of putting things above that. I think I just have the post-traumatic stress, if you will, of back in the 90s when you'd see all those fake plants above cabinets. I don't like that at all, but I do think it can be cool to have certain things above your cabinets, and art is definitely an approved one of those in my opinion. So I do have a couple pieces of art up here, and I'll put a picture in of that so you can see. And I have this cat painting as well. It's titled Ed, and so I got this on an antique auction. The artist of this Ed cat painting is Nano Lopez, who's actually known for his sculptural designs, I believe bronze sculptural designs. And I believe he's a Colombian artist, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure. And so this was acquired just on an online auction, and I love cat art. I have a cat, I've mentioned that before, I love cat art. So I have a couple pieces in my own collection, and this is one of those. I might sell this down the road, I don't know exactly, but it's staying with me for now. And then I also have this other cat art above there as well that's just a really funny little cat art. It's actually titled Kitten, and it has the artist's signature. I believe it might be an etching or some type of just limited edition print, but a really cute little piece of art too. This bird, I believe it's a Paragon falcon. I know it's some type of falcon. And it's actually a watercolor and signed by the artist. I got this at a thrift store actually a few years ago, and it's very large. I do sell large art, but it's really hard to sell large art. It's obviously these like massive panes of glass, and so it just can be kind of tricky. It's also very expensive to ship art as well, but this one is big. It doesn't really necessarily probably show how large it is, but it's a really big piece, and it's just kind of a cool, colorful piece that I like. I actually have it on one of my walls in my bedroom, and it's just something that stayed with me. This next one is actually a painting in my bathroom, in the primary bathroom. And so this was a mid-century just piece of art that I got, I don't know, probably a few years ago. It was a really cool vintage store in Phoenix, Arizona called Soda Pop Vintage, and I actually got it from them. And then I just bought it for myself, my own personal art collection, and I have thought about rematting this or changing it. The matting isn't very good, but it's just a really cool kind of line drawing with some watercolor from the 1960s, and I've always really liked it, and another piece that stays in my collection as well. But this is a mid-century art piece that is signed and dated as well. That's in my own personal collection, and it's just a really large-scale art that I really like. I have this old art easel that I got it on Facebook Marketplace for like $5 a few years ago, and so I have had the intention to strip that. I know there's like probably some really pretty wood under there. It's an old easel, and so someone had painted it gold, so I've just always kind of left it like that. But art easels are a really good way to display art, actually, and so you can always, it just makes it for a very simple way to kind of interchange art. You don't necessarily have to hang it on the wall, so I always have a pretty large scale piece of art that's right here, and this is the one that is taking up that spot right now. And I really love this art. I love any type of etching, mid-19, probably 60s time frame, and one of my favorites. This piece of art right here is actually something I just got on Facebook Marketplace for like $30 in Phoenix. So don't sleep on Facebook Marketplace in terms of art. I went and just picked this up from a lady that was selling it. I don't think she had any idea of like the history, or I didn't ask her even where she got it. I just saw it and instantly was like, I have to have that. I don't plan on selling it. I just really love it. So right now it's just on my wall, kind of in the room between my dining room and my kitchen. And so yeah, really cool piece. It doesn't actually have a signature. It is an original, and it has glass over the front. It almost looks like oil pastel if you look up really close, but it could be some type of oil painting. Generally, you don't see oil paintings with glass coverings, but I don't know. It could be wrong. It could be some type of pastel. It could be oil, maybe acrylic. I'm not exactly sure, but really cool piece. I love the texture. I love the wood frame. So the next piece of art is this Danish 1892 oil painting, and I actually acquired 4 of these in a set, and it's by the same artist, and then I sold 3 of them. Actually, all went to the same lady in Connecticut, same buyer, but I kept one of the 4, and so I have this. It's in my Northern California house over my bed there, and just a really neat, like moody painting. I just love it. I fell in love with it right when I first got it and couldn't part with one of these. This is a painting by an artist named Bill Wheeler, and he actually was one of the first really off-grid kind of communes, hippie communes in Sonoma County, and so California, and really painted a lot of his art and made a lot of his art based on his psychedelic experiences. And so this is a piece I acquired couple years ago or so, and I've always just really liked it. I'm not typically really drawn to art that's like a teal color. I just don't usually like teal too much, but this, for whatever reason, has always just been a special piece to me, and it's actually in an acrylic frame, which is kind of unusual. You don't see that very often, and so it's just a piece that really kind of almost has like that modern touch and that modernist feel that I really like, really love. And I've talked about mixing design styles. And so having a piece of art like this that's more of that modern feeling because it has that acrylic frame and then paired with things that are antique, that's just what I personally love. And Bill Wheeler was actually born in 1940 and passed away in 2018. So a piece that I'll always have, I believe, and just keep in my collection. It's just a special piece to me, and I really love the acrylic frame. It's just something different and kind of sets something apart in my collection of art. So this right here is actually a architectural drawing that we found in the house. And so we found all of these rolls of all of the original architectural renderings and drawings and builder's permits of this house. And so not of this house that I'm in right now, this is Arizona, but of the other one. And I thought it'd be really cool just to have a piece of that. And some of them had some water damage, and I do plan on doing more of these as well, but I actually just had this frame handy. It was just up there already. And so I put it in that particular frame. I might change it down the road, but it's just a cool piece of history of the home to have that architectural drawing. And that's what you see on the wall here. This next one is a Pablo Picasso actual certified authentic print by the Picasso estate. And so I don't know the origination or the time of this, and at least that's what I've been told. I mean, that's one of the hard things about Picasso is there are so many prints, but when Picasso actually had died, there was thousands of prints that they had in the Picasso estate. And I actually sell some authentic Picasso prints that are from generally the 1940s to 1950s. And so I have one right now actually that I just listed. I'll put a picture of it here. But I do come across these from time to time, and I have a source and a place that I am able to acquire them. And I love to put them in just different unique frames. I have a few regular buyers that really like to get these. So this is one that I just recently listed, and they are actual authentic prints that are certified and from the origination of that printmaker in Paris. And so it can be a little tricky. This one here that I'm showing you is in my own personal collection. It does have a certificate of authenticity, although I don't necessarily and can't guarantee that, for my own self. I believe the title is Femme de Chapeau. And so I just love the look of this. I love the kind of cubism portrait of this woman. And so it's something that I just personally love. Whether it's valuable or not, I really don't know. I think I paid around $700 for this myself. And so it is always risky when you're buying art such as this and you don't necessarily know for sure unless you go and have that authenticated with the Picasso estate. And that's something that you can actually do. You can kind of research that online and figure out how you go about that if that's something you're ever looking to do. But I always, and anytime I sell Picasso art that I designate as an authentic print, I do include the certificate of authenticity with whatever original information I received from that print when I acquired it. And so that is something that comes along with the print. But yeah, this is a piece that's just special to me. I really love it. I have this little black kind of modern art light over the top of it. And so it sits in my living room. It's just something that I personally love. I love to look at it. It's numbered. It has a stamp of authenticity on it and just a special piece. And if you're looking to kind of acquire and kind of get into any Picasso prints, definitely check out my shop because I fairly often do have these and I will be coming up with more of them sometime soon. I have another source for some authentic prints that I'll be acquiring and then framing and putting on the shop. The last two I'm going to talk about are two oil paintings that I actually acquired from an estate auction. And so Clyde Leon Keller is the artist. Let me look at my notes, he actually died in 1962, but he did a lot, and he's a very prolific artist in the Pacific Northwest, mostly in Oregon. So he does a lot of the Sauvie Island, and I believe this one here is called, it's 1941, and the Willamette Slough from Sauvie Island, Oregon. So I do have this on my shop. You can find the link below on this one, but it is a very highly collected artist and a piece that is definitely of high value. It's something that will continue to grow in value and that you could have forever and really have in your own collection. But it's a piece that if I don't ever sell it, I'm happy to have it. And I do have this one here that I showed right before that is just something that's in my home that I just personally love. I love the colors of it. It's just, you can really tell sometimes in landscapes, and I'm not always big on landscapes necessarily, but every once in a while I come across an artist that I just absolutely love the landscape. He really does this so well. So this is just something that I personally love. And yeah, Clyde Leon Keller, two really amazing paintings of the state of Oregon. The last thing I want to talk on really quick are just some ideas of where you can acquire art yourself. So I sell art, so I'm always looking for art. So I find art in a lot of different places. So whether that is from estate sales, whether that's from thrift stores, whether that's from antique malls, is a really good place to find art. I find a lot of art there. And like I said, I do my own framing. You can always go in and have something framed as well. So that's always an option. But I think looking places that you maybe haven't considered as well. So you can go to estatesales.net. And so if you've never been to an estate sale, definitely check those out. You can go to estatesales.net and then put in your zip code, and then it shows you whatever estate sales are coming. And so it's a really good way to kind of get a preview. And so you can kind of get an idea of if it's worth actually going to that estate sale or not, if it's in your area, or maybe you're traveling somewhere and you want to go check out some estate sales. You can always do that. I do that as well. So you can just put in your zip code or wherever you're going, look at all the estate sales that are coming over that next, I think they usually do a week or 2 weeks out. And you can a lot of times preview, and sometimes there is auction house art as well. So definitely check that place out too. And then the other side of it too is another auction house that I really like, that I have acquired art as well from, is Everything But the House. And so if you haven't heard of Everything But the House, that's a really cool place to check out as well. They are an auction website and app. So I actually just have the app on my phone, but you can check them out, make an account, and then you can put in your zip code. It'll tell you what the cost is of the shipping. It's very reasonable and a really good way to acquire some pretty high value art for a really good price. So check those out. And it's a place, whether you're looking to kind of get into selling art or you want to just collect art for your own home, it's a really great kind of resource to have and to look on there regularly. One thing I would say about auctions, there are other auctions as well, but you really have to stay on top of it and be looking and setting. I'm always have like multiple alarms on my phone of different auctions that I'm watching, and it kind of is a full-time job in a sense if you're really looking to kind of acquire art through an auction house. But a really good way to find art at a great price that you really love is checking out auctions, and then like I said, estate sales, Facebook Marketplace, and then of course 33 Cubed, my shop, link below, have lots of art. I love selling art, so definitely check that out as well. I'm always putting on new art. I sell a ton of art, so that's always an option. And yeah, it's always fun to talk about this. It's my most favorite thing to discuss. I absolutely love just the world of art, the world of art dealing, just the history of art is just amazing. So thanks for being here. Always fun talking with you guys, and I'll be back in 2 weeks for another video. Bye.